It's definitely annoying trying to eat a large sub sandwich when it hasn't been cut in half. But one Florida man took his annoyance a bit too far. According to an arrest report, the Martin County Sheriff's Office responded to a call about a disturbance at one of the Subway locations in Stuart. According to the deputy who filed the report, a customer had become agitated with a female Subway worker after finding out his sandwich was not sliced. Police said words were exchanged and the customer began causing a disruptive scene. As the employee walked away from the confrontation, the man decided to talk on his phone. But apparently he was still angry over his sandwich, because while he was talking, he suddenly threw his sandwich, striking the employee. A coworker also witnessed the incident. The irate customer then left the restaurant. The employee who was struck with the sandwich then followed him outside. She was able to capture video evidence of his angry demeanor and she also got his car's license plate. She then called police and notified her manager of the incident. When a deputy tracked him down at his home, the man admitted he had been in an argument with the employee. But he insisted he'd thrown the sandwich at the counter, not at the worker. He explained that he then got on his phone to call the store manager to complain. These are the types of incidents where it comes down to one person's word against another. That's why video evidence has become so important. So when the deputy got to view surveillance footage from the store, it was clear that the man had struck the employee with the sandwich. He was also able to see the video provided by the worker showing the angry man as he left the restaurant. We don't know why the customer didn't simply ask the employee to cut his sandwich instead of attacking her. Besides, it's not like an uncut sub is going to taste any different. So clearly this guy had other issues. Well, that sandwich just cost him a lot more than he had originally paid. That's because the 54-year-old man was arrested and charged with battery. He was later released on $1,000 bond. All because of an uncut sandwich. This is the type of crime that was probably quite common over 100 years ago. And even more common thousands of years ago. It's just not something you'd expect to hear about today. But this case is about an Amish family in Sturgis, Michigan who went shopping at Walmart. When they emerged from the store, they discovered that somebody had stolen their horse and buggy while they were shopping. Luckily, a truck driver parked in the store's parking lot witnessed the theft and gave police a description of a female suspect. Police determined that this was the same woman they had contact with earlier in the day and at the store. That evening, a police officer found the horse and the unoccupied buggy. The horse was unharmed and the family was eventually reunited with their buggy and horse. Many Amish people rely on a horse and buggy for transportation, rather than a modern vehicle. Amish people also tend to abstain from using modern conveniences and technologies, including electricity. It's also a pretty fair guess that they weren't shopping for electronics at Walmart. It was probably something like gardening tools. And it's not like they're going to whip out their smartphone and call an Uber. So without their horse and buggy, they're literally stuck. Fortunately, police eventually located the 31-year-old suspect later that day at a nearby motel. She was arrested without incident. A police sergeant with the Sturgis Police Department said that the suspect did not provide a motive for stealing the horse and buggy to police. She also had prior encounters with officers. The sergeant went on to say, "I've never had an Amish horse and buggy stolen in my 20 years as an officer." He's quite right. And he probably will never see one again. After all, how far can you get in a horse and buggy without being noticed? It's just not the type of crime you would expect anyone to commit in modern times. Unless perhaps the thief was Amish as well. The unidentified woman faced charges of larceny and larceny of livestock. One Facebook user summed it up with one simple comment: "You can't make this stuff up." If you're going to steal a van, it would probably be a good idea to make sure it's not full of donuts. Because we all know how much cops love their sweet treats, and they will put forth an extra effort to find you. But one person in the Carlingford suburb of Sydney, Australia clearly wasn't thinking. Police were searching for a person who stole a van loaded with 10,000 Krispy Kreme donuts. The vehicle was on its way to Newcastle to make a few deliveries. The driver had pulled into a 7-Eleven service station at about 3:30 a.m. Closed-circuit footage of the scene showed a woman wandering around the gas pumps. When the driver went inside to pay, the woman jumped into the unattended van and drove away. Unfortunately, the company said that the van was not equipped with tracking devices, so they couldn't give law enforcement any additional information. But police were able to get a decent description of the suspect. They said she had long black or brown hair. She looked to be in her early 30s, was wearing dark clothing, and carrying a white handbag. A Krispy Kreme spokesperson made the following statement: "Customers intending on purchasing Krispy Kreme donuts today are encouraged to visit the local Krispy Kreme store, where our friendly staff will ensure all orders are fulfilled. Our Krispy Kreme team is working to replace the 10,000 stolen donuts, which are handmade fresh each day." Kinda sounds more like a promo ad for Krispy Kreme rather than a statement about a missing van. And just to keep the local police happy, they said they would be giving all emergency workers a 50% discount on in-store purchases. Of course, social media had a blast with this story. Here were just a few of the comments. "Had to be an inside job staged by police. Police found the van, but no donuts have been recovered. The entire police force filled their coffee cups and are out searching for the donuts. Officers around the country have offered to join the search. Are the cops after the thief or the donuts?" You would probably expect the stolen van to never be seen again. Yet the vehicle was found abandoned about a week later in a parking lot and the donuts were still inside. However, much to the disappointment of the officers, all of the donuts were now spoiled. Police arrested a 28-year-old female for the crime. She was charged with vehicle theft and driving while disqualified, which is more serious than driving with a suspended license. So you have to wonder why she would steal a van since she was not supposed to be driving. After all, if she got caught, it would only add to her charges. And it certainly did, because she was also refused bail. Police believe she may not have even known the van was full of donuts when she stole it. That's because the vehicle was unmarked. They think she may have been tempted by an easy chance to steal a nice van. This would also explain why all the donuts were left to spoil. But then again, we're talking about a van full of 10,000 donuts. It's hard to believe that a suspect wouldn't at least take a few, just for the road. Or maybe she just doesn't like Krispy Kremes.